For about 100 years now, we've been dreaming about robots and, having nightmares about them too. We pictured them looking just like us, acting like us, and maybe, just maybe, wiping us all out. But here's the thing. The real robot revolution is already happening, and it looks absolutely nothing like the movies. So, you've got this picture in your head, right? The one from movies and books, where robots are basically artificial people who end up taking over everything. But the reality on the ground today, it's way more subtle, and honestly, a lot more interesting. The real robots of our time are highly specialized tools. They're not designed to replace us, but to work with us, taking on the jobs that are dangerous, dirty, or just incredibly dull. To really get what I'm talking about, I want to take you somewhere. Picture a bright, really windy day out on the plains of Colorado, right near the Kansas border. We're on a construction site where crews are getting this massive foundation ready for a brand new wind turbine. And right there in front of us is this huge 41-ton Caterpillar excavator. And it is performing what looks like a complex ballet of engineering. It's digging this enormous hole, 62 feet wide, with walls sloped at a perfect 34-degree angle, and a floor that is just almost perfectly level. Every single move, every scoop, every swing, every drop is done with this incredible control and what seems like careful judgment. But here is where things get a little weird. You peer inside the cab, where the operator is supposed to be sitting, and the seat is completely empty. The machine is digging all by itself. So, where's the operator? Well, you'd find it lying on the roof of the cab. And this particular operator, it doesn't have any hands, or eyes, or ears, at least not in the way we think of them. And that's when Noah Ray Campbell, who co-founded a company called Built Robotics, he just points to this sleek-looking box that's bolted to the excavator's roof. This is where the AI runs, he says. See, this isn't just a machine anymore. It's a whole new kind of robot, and it's powered by artificial intelligence. So what's actually in this magic box? Well, it's this whole cocktail of tech. You've got lasers and GPS telling the robot its exact position, down to the centimeter. You've got video cameras so it can see its surroundings. There are gyroscope-like sensors to keep it stable. But the real brain of the operation is an AI processor, which is making all the split-second decisions a human driver would. And all the while, communication gear is letting a human supervisor keep an eye on everything from a safe distance. It's incredibly smart and capable without trying to be human at all.
Okay, so this technology is amazing, no question. But it makes you wonder, why now? What are the forces that suddenly came together to bring these smart machines out of the research labs and onto actual construction sites?
It's really a story about a perfect storm of technology. First, mechanical parts got way lighter, cheaper, and more durable. Second, computer chips got ridiculously fast and tiny. Third, huge breakthroughs in AI gave us these powerful data-crunching brains we could put inside these robot bodies. And finally, wireless communication got so good that these robots can connect to the cloud, or even to each other, sharing information like a hive mind.
And because of all that, robots are finally breaking out of their old cages in factories. They're quietly and steadily moving into our world. They're scanning shelves in your local supermarket. They're cleaning floors. They're out in fields, delicately picking lettuce and even raspberries without crushing them. They're delivering food in English towns, carrying supplies down the hallways of a Dallas hospital, and even disinfecting hospital rooms to help keep us all safe.
But look, it's not just about the cool tech. There's also a powerful economic push. As MIT economist Daron Acemoglu puts it, there's this growing feeling among some managers that, well, humans are troublesome. A robot never gets sick, it never asks for a raise, it doesn't need health insurance. And when you combine that thinking with tax incentives that actually reward companies for investing in automation instead of people, the business case gets really, really strong.
And this, of course, brings us to the one question that's on everybody's mind. Are these things the job killers that we've all been warned about for so long? Let's go back to that windy construction site in Colorado. Derek Smith, who's with the Mortenson Construction Company, says he's seen this play out himself. He says that when the robots first show up, the human operators are skeptical. They'll say, oh, great, here come the job killers. But then they see that the robot is just there to do the most mind-numbing, repetitive parts of the job. And that attitude, it shifts. And it shifts pretty darn quickly. In this table, this really gets to the heart of why that is. Robots are absolute champions of consistency. They can do the exact same thing perfectly thousands of times in a row. But where do we humans still win hands down? Common sense. The ability to problem solve on the fly. Tactile skill. That sense of touch. And just sheer versatility. We can handle unexpected issues and delicate tasks that are still way, way beyond what a robot can do. Our strengths are complementary. So what it all boils down to is this new division of labor that's starting to emerge. The robots are taking over the repetitive, predictable stuff, and that frees up human workers to focus on the parts of the job that require real creativity, judgment, and skill, what the construction guys actually call the art.
You want to see a perfect example? Let's go to a Subaru auto plant. The manufacturing manager there, Chico Marks, explains that even in one of the most automated places on Earth, they still absolutely need people for certain jobs, like routing a complicated wiring harness through the chassis of a car. He says that takes a human brain and that sense of touch, that tactile feedback, to know it's in exactly the right place. A robot just can't do that. Not yet.
So what in the world does all of this mean for our future? Well, it's clear we're not building artificial people to come and replace us. What we're actually doing is learning how to live and work alongside a totally new kind of intelligent machine. It's kind of funny. Back in 1996, a group of top roboticists started this thing called the RoboCup tournament, and they had this really ambitious goal: build a team of robots that could beat the human World Cup champions. Well, here we are, decades later, and that goal seems further away than ever. Why? It turns out that just walking, just staying balanced and dealing with gravity is an incredibly complex and sophisticated act. It's a pretty humbling reminder of just how amazing the human machine really is. And that brings us to the big takeaway, which is summed up perfectly by the roboticist Manuela Veloso. She says this isn't about replacement, it's about integration. It's just an inevitable fact that machines and these artificial creatures are going to become a normal, significant part of our world. The workplace of tomorrow? Well, it's going to be an ecosystem of humans and robots working together. So the challenge for us really isn't about fearing some kind of robot uprising anymore. That's the old story. The real question, the one we have to grapple with now, is way more interesting. If these smart machines really are like a new species entering our ecosystem, how are we all going to learn to live with them?